what is the etymology of the word warlock?
Well, according to Wikipedia, the most commonly accepted etymology derives warlock from the Old English werloga, which meant breaker of oaths or deceiver. The term came to apply especially to the devil around 1000 AD. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, so werloga.
Breaker of oaths. Okay,
That makes sense.
interesting.
Do you remember the movie Warlock from like the 1980s?
Not at all.
It was amazing.
So interesting. Also a derivation. It's also a derivation from the Old Norse Verloker. I am totally pronouncing that wrong. I apologize. Which means
We
collar.
don't have any Old Norsish.
Means collar of spirits. But of course, that's one suggestion. But the Oxford English Dictionary considers this implausible due to the extreme rarity of the Norse word and because forms without a hard K, which are consistent with the Old English etymology trader, are attested earlier forms than with a K. Okay, interesting. Yeah, there you go. Little history lesson for you.
No, I loved
right.
it. It was great. I think these things are important. Yeah, there's this one scene in the movie Warlock where, like, I don't know, like you can't walk across salt or something.
Very specific.
Yeah, I watched it when I was like 4 or 5 years old, which was probably less than advisable, but here we are. I made it this far. Yeah. Parts of that movie stand out to me. Welcome to the RPGBOT.Podcast. I'm Randall James, and with me is Tyler Kempstra.
Hi, everybody.
And Ash Eli.
Who's ready to make a deal?
Oh, I'm good. Well, yeah. What would you like?
Just your eternal soul. Is that okay? In exchange, I'll give you a little bit of power.
A little bit of power. That sounds great.
Not a lot.
I was about to say
Just enough to get you to come back more and more. So basically, I'm like any sort of telecommunications company. I'll give you just enough that you get what you want, but not enough that you won't complain for the stuff that you won't not complain for the rest of your days about your service.
Here's the deal. When you went to telecommunications company, I thought we were going a very different direction. I would also like to note, I think I was about to screw up the bit because like you were just your eternal soul. I was about to say yes, and then you offered me anything for it. Like I was just going to be like, yeah, all right, I'm in.
Yeah, but that's not how this works. No, in this case, I didn't realize how similar a Warlock patron is to Comcast. Because
that feels real.
Comcast gives
promise you a certain amount of bandwidth, but
promise you a certain amount of bandwidth, constantly throttle your service, doesn't give you all the power you need, and getting out of your contract is exceedingly hard, if not impossible.
Yeah.
We promise you gigabit internet, except when the sun is up, down, rising, or setting.
Yeah. I guess the moral of this episode, children, is don't make deals with soulless entities, especially when it comes to corporations.
Yeah.
That was my only option, okay?
Now I need, and I might just do this myself, a subclass of Warlock called the Corporate Warlock, which makes a deal with a corporation, and it would be like a modern Warlock. I need that. That would be fantastic.
Have you seen the Paladin Oath of the Common Man? Just like put those two in the party.
Yes.
Yeah.
We need more modern subclasses because some of them could be very fun.
Just name it the board. And people are like, what is the board? It's like,
oh, yeah.
The board is who your agreement is with. Occasionally you have to meet with the chairman.
No. The shareholders.
Yeah. That's who they think's in control.
All right. So we've got a board of executives Warlock, Oath of the Common Man Paladin, venture capitalist Rogue.
Venture capitalist Rogue, yes.
I think if you're going to do Rogue, you have to do something with like secrets,
corporate
secrets,
corporate espionage.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes. Yeah, that's good.
Corporate
too.
espionage, technomancy wizard, which we already have.
Just IT.
IT,
Done.
yes. I actually, we should really get to it, but I did actually come up with a subclass that I'm currently working on called an aetherologist, which is a wizard that hacks reality. So
Okay.
I just think that's very cool. Just like a person who treats reality like it's a game. And so when they change things, it's like they're adding updates and patches to reality, which I think is
Does
very
the
cool.
role play look like playing like Deadpool or Nethys?
Yes.
Okay. I'm into it. I feel like that could be fun for a certain table.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I feel like we've given away the ghost, so to speak. We're talking about Warlocks tonight. All right, Tyler, what's happening?
We're talking about Warlocks tonight. Listen, I have been playing these games for 20 years, and I still have not been given the demonic powers that I was promised back in the 80s and 90s. So tonight we're going to try and make that happen. We're going to talk about Warlocks.
Woo!
Now, if you're not familiar with Warlocks somehow, these are the ones that make a pact with something more powerful than they are for incredible magical power.
They're also a class that nobody ever takes beyond 5th level.
Tragically true.
But tonight we're going to do it. We're going to go all the way to 20 because nobody's cheating like that 1% did on the podcast previously.
Yeah. Who
There
could
were some
that
stern
have
conversations.
Who could that
We're
have
not
been?
going there anymore. It was me. It was absolutely me.
Mhm.
Sorcerer's Stomach, okay. Incredible magic power. Incredible magic power. That's what we're going to call what Warlocks get from their patron.
Yes.
They get some magical power.
They get very budgeted, limited magical power. We'll get there. Okay.
I mean, if your pact is with the genie, you get to say, "Fantastic, unlimited cosmic power, itty bitty living space."
Yes. So let's jump right into it. Warlocks. You're going to pick a race. You're going to pick some ability scores. For ability scores, it's all about the charisma. That's pretty much it. That's really all you need. Dexterity, constitution, wisdom for defenses, but really that's it. Just charisma. Everything you're going to do involves charisma. If you're going to use a weapon, you're going to be using charisma. If you're casting a spell, it's charisma. There's very little reason to take anything except charisma beyond 16. In the 2014 Player's Handbook, Warlocks could be built around weapons badly, and you could use strength or dexterity or whatever, but there was absolutely no good reason to do that until Hexblade came along, and then you get to do that with charisma too. So, charisma. In terms of race, innate spellcasting, super great. You can use pact magic slots to recast your innate spellcasting spells, provided that you are a race published after Tasha's, because everything after Tasha's was allowed to use spell slots to recast their spells. So, that's a whole thing. Also, just having a few extra spells per day, super nice when you only get 2 per short rest, because Warlock.
Yeah, I feel like we're not there yet. When we get to there, we really need to talk about that because it is so different than the other casters that we've talked about so far.
Okay, proficiencies, pretty simple. You get simple weapons, you get light armor, intelligence and charisma saves, and a few skills. Just the standard 2+2 from your background. The Warlock skills, Warlocks make a really good face character, but they don't get persuasion as a class skill. So you can't pick that from your class. You got to get it from your background.
Yeah, so weird.
Yeah.
Well, no, but it fits the theme, right? You talked about even the etymology of the word being a deceiver. You do get deception and intimidation. So you can go into a conversation, you can lie to someone and use that to maybe get information or get what you want out of them. You can go into a conversation and intimidate someone. The one thing you're not going to do is appeal to their senses.
And in most, well, not in most, but in a lot of settings, Warlocks are maybe not looked on favorably. And so being able to lie and say you're a wizard who just really sucks at magic is useful.
I realize I can cast Meteor Swarm. I'm still terrible at this. So you got some skills. Yeah, like I said, the proficiencies are super simple. There's really not a lot of nuance here. The only thing that'll change your proficiencies is if you go Hexblade and then you get martial weapons, medium armor, and shields. But that is a subclass. That's a whole thing. Speaking of subclasses, though, Warlocks are one of those classes that get their subclass right at level 1, which makes sense because you have to make the pact to become a Warlock. I don't know how they're going to explain that in the 2024 rules, but
I don't either.
Whatever.
Can you imagine a waiting period?
Yeah.
I'm going to agree to this now. And then so my soul's gone and I'm going to go adventuring. I'm going to start adventuring. And then 6 weeks from now, let's maybe catch up and see how things are going. Maybe I'll get some of that magic we were talking about.
Yeah, I put my soul on layaway.
Do we get a 2-level free trial? Before
I too have student loans.
Oh, God.
Too real. Too real.
Sorry, Tyler, you were asking a real question. I am broken.
No, I was making a joke too. All right, so otherworldly patrons. We got a few of them. Ash, do you want to run us through the list and we'll talk about how cool all of them are?
Yes, let's do our typical yay or nay. Archfey.
Yeah. Yes, very cool. A little heavy on charisma and being tricksy, so like it can be a little difficult to play, but it is pretty cool.
Yeah, it's not bad. I find it rather boring to play, but it does serve a specific niche. What about you, Randall? What do you think of Archfey?
Perfectly fine. Gonna have a lot of fun role playing.
Celestial. I think it's actually pretty freaking good. I'm not gonna lie.
It's good, but people need to stop thinking that it's going to replace a cleric. It's not. You get you basically get healing word.
That being said, I did run an evil game where literally the only healer was a celestial warlock, and they were very good at what they did.
Okay.
Yeah, so you can make it work because 5th edition just kind of works that way. You don't need a dedicated healer.
Yeah.
Fathomless.
Will I be near water?
Yeah.
Exactly. They're good if there is a water source nearby. Otherwise, they're just kind of mediocre.
Yeah.
Does a water genasi count?
No.
Okay, well then fine. There's your answer.
Fiend. Classic.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
If you want to
be simple.
Yeah, if you want to be the blaster caster, be Fiend.
Yeah, absolutely.
Genie can be fun. It's a little weird, but it can be fun.
It's 4 subclasses in one. Who doesn't like that?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
That being said, I feel like Genie is kind of niche and it's not for everybody.
That's fair.
Great old one. Thematically interesting. I wish it was better mechanically.
Our character optimization handbook for the Great Old One, I had to go to some really weird lengths to make it good. If you want to play a Great Old One to really good effect, you need to be willing to have everything interesting you do be outside of combat. And everything you do outside of combat will require everyone else at the table to get therapy.
It is a very role-play heavy class. It's not really a combat-focused one. That being said, I think Baldur's Gate 3 took the right direction with the class and gave it some actually good features. Now we just need to translate into 5th edition. Hexblade, everybody loves Hexblade. We don't need to talk about
it's
Hexblade.
Great.
Yeah. The MSG of subclasses, you put it on everything and it instantly gets better.
It's to the point where, like, if someone does a different subclass of Warlock, I'm like, wow, here's a cookie. I'm going to give you all the gifts because you didn't go Hexblade. You're not a boring person. I'm looking at you, Quasit.
In my best Ron Howard voice, I'm going Hexblade.
Love it. I'm just kidding. I love you, Quasit.
It's too late. He already hung up.
Yeah, he did. No, and it's like a Hexblade, I think, is probably the most common. I'm running a lot of different games right now. Hexblade is the most common class in my games. And it's not just it's not even close. It's not even like, but it's not like the full class. It's just a 1 or 2 level dip. It's the most common. It's the most common class in all of my games. Undead, very fun. I like Undead.
Yeah, fun for both roleplay, but also mechanically feels good.
It's a ton of fun.
Oh God, Quasit said, "Just you wait, Ash. I've still got Planar Ally to throw at your plans for next session." Well, thank you, Quasit. Thank you.
At least he warned you, right?
I mean,
that's actually bait and switch. That's what you think is going to happen, but then wait. Got you.
Okay, Undying. What Undead wishes it could have been.
Yeah.
I mean, no. What? No. Let me rephrase that.
We're undead.
It wishes it were undead. It wishes it were undead. Yes.
Yeah. Have you ever written a subclass so bad that the next rule supplement that comes out has to have a replacement for it? That is the Undying. It has functionally no redeeming qualities.
Yeah.
Which, jeez.
Hey, at least it's not Seeker. Seeker was even worse.
I forgot Seeker existed.
I believe it's UA. It was real bad.
Okay. All right. Well, we're level 1 Warlocks. We're feeling aspirational. We're looking for somebody to sell our souls to. What's everybody taking?
Already made my announcement.
I'm going Undead.
Solid. I'm going to go for the classic. I'm going to go for the Fiend.
Makes a lot of sense. I'm going to go Hexblade.
Hexblade is real good. So we have our subclasses. Everybody gets some cool features right at level 1, so you can immediately start feeling like yourself. We all get an expanded spell list. So keep in mind, the expanded spell list, you do still need to learn these spells. You don't just get them for free, unfortunately. So if you look at your spell list and are like, all of those are bad, that's fine. You don't have to take any. So I've got Burning Hands and Command. I'm not going to take Burning Hands. Why would I? But I am going to take Command because Command is real good.
I've got Shield and Wrathful Smite, and I'm not sure what I'm going to take yet.
And
those are probably good choices, honestly.
Yeah.
I've got Bane and False Life. Both are decent.
Nice.
Probably going to go with False Life just because that makes the most sense.
Yeah, all those extra hit points, they feel real good.
Yeah, especially on a Warlock.
Let's see. So my first level feature is Dark One's Blessing. Whenever I reduce a hostile creature to 0 hit points, I gain temporary hit points equal to Charisma plus my Warlock level. So right from level 1, I'm getting like 4 temporary hit points whenever I reduce something to 0 HP. Now, obviously, you're going to think, oh, man, but you only get it if you last hit something. So here I go, pulling out my bag of Angry Wrath.
Exactly. Like treating them like poppers at 4th of July time, just like, wow, temporary hit points.
Exactly.
Does that count as a free item interaction?
I don't know.
Probably shouldn't.
Probably should. I could probably empty the bag onto the ground next to me and have the rats scurry away mid-combat. Be like, I need a snack. Pew.
Oh, don't phrase it that way. Yeah, I do feel like this is a session 0 topic. If you're planning on doing the bag of rats trick, having that conversation on day 1, to either get the like, absolutely not, or that sounds awesome, let's do that. I think I'm going to say no.
That's fair. What features do you guys get at level 1?
I get Form of Dread, which is a very cool feature. I can manifest my patron's power as a bonus action for 1 minute, which gives me the following effects. I gain temporary hit points equal to 1d10 plus my Warlock level. And once during each of my turns, when I hit a creature with an attack roll, I can force it to make a wisdom saving throw. And if the saving throw fails, the target is frightened of me until the end of my next turn. I'm also immune to the frightened condition. And I can do this a number of times equal to my proficiency bonus per long rest, which is quite nice.
Great for a class tip.
All right. So I get Hexblade's Curse. As a bonus action, I can curse one creature that I can see within 30 feet of me. The curse lasts for 1 minute. The punchline is I gain a bonus to damage rolls against the cursed target equal to my proficiency bonus. Any attack roll I make is a critical on a 19 or a 20. And if that cursed target dies, I regain hit points equal to my Warlock level plus my Charisma modifier. And then I can't use this again until I take a short or a long rest. Spoiler alert, short rests are going to be really important to me anyway. So constantly be like, hey, can I sit down for a minute? So I'm not really worried about it. I get to use this all the time is how I'm looking at it. I also get Hex Warrior. At first level, I acquire training necessary to effectively arm myself for battle. Proficiency with medium armor, shields, and martial weapons.
So some nice improvements.
And blah, 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 blah. When you attack with that weapon, you can use your charisma modifier instead of strength or dexterity for the attack and damage rolls. So now I'm already a charisma-based character. Look at me using charisma to be awesome with my Hex Warrior.
There you go. Yeah, that is why everyone's there for that 1 level Warlock dip, just for their charisma with one weapon. It's pretty good. So we also get Pact Magic at level 1. Now, the Warlock is the only official class in D&D that has a different approach to spellcasting. Pact Magic is weird. You recharge your spell slots on a short rest instead of a long rest, but in exchange, you don't get very many of them. They all advance to your highest spell level, but stop at 5, which is a whole thing. If you multi-class into other classes, like you don't add levels to Pact Magic because there's nothing else with Pact Magic except the Warlock. It's weird. Now, notably, you can use Pact Magic spell slots for basically anything that eats a spell slot. So the Sorcerer's Font of Magic, the Paladin's Divine Smite, both of those are perfectly happy to consume your Warlock spell slots to do whatever you're doing.
Why? Coffee lock is a thing.
Yeah.
And so it's worth saying, like, the most number of spell slots you're ever going to get is 4.
3.
Is that true?
Am I crazy? Do you somehow get up to 4 and
you get 4.
Level 17 to 20, you get 4 spell slots.
4 spell slots, yeah.
Just nobody makes it that far.
No, nobody makes it that far. It's a Warlock.
Okay. But yeah, I say this to say, like, sure, you get to recharge them on a short rest, but you really don't have a lot of spell slots.
Now, that said, always casting your leveled spells at your highest spell level is pretty cool. It does mean that you need to approach picking your spells a little differently from most spellcasters. The benefits for casting a spell at a higher level become extremely important. So, like, Fireball does extra damage as you cast at a higher level. Burning Hands, Blindness, Deafness will hit additional targets. Like, all of these things, very important. And you need to consider all of those things when you're picking spells. Now, at the same time, that shouldn't stop you from things like Shield or Absorb Elements or, low-level spells that are still really good, even if they don't get better with higher spell slots. But you do need to keep the spell slot mechanics in mind.
I feel like what's great about Absorb Elements, for instance, is it's effectively going to scale as you level because you're going to be taking more damage, right?
Yeah, exactly. Okay,
not taking more damage.
So the Warlock's cantrips overlap quite a bit with the Wizard. Like, almost everything on the Warlock spell list is going to be on the Wizard spell list. The one crazy exception is, of course, Eldritch Blast, everybody's favorite cantrip. Of the three of us, gentlemen, are any of us not taking Eldritch Blast?
Why would you? Why would you not?
Randall's got weapons. I don't know. Maybe he
I
wants
too
to cast
Eldritch Blast.
Yeah.
If you don't pick Eldritch Blast as a Warlock, you fail as a Warlock. Pick a different class. Sorry.
It's kind of true, yeah.
I just want to go pew pew.
It's real good. Yeah.
It's good for everybody. Even if you're focusing on melee, if something's not within your reach, you can still Eldritch Blast them. There's literally no reason for you to pick it.
Yeah.
Trust me, the other choices are not as good.
Yeah. So first level spells, like I said, it's mostly overlap with the Wizard spell list. There are a few notable exceptions. Armor of Agathis gives you temporary hit points, and when you're hit in melee, you deal retaliatory damage. Very cool. The scaling on it is really good, and if you're building for melee, it's a great way to pad your hit points, and also, like, sure, you can come stab me. You're not going to enjoy it, but you can.
Okay, so Hex is pretty good. Hex is going to be a great time.
Yeah. So the classic usage for Hex is just you put it on an enemy, you laser them until they fall down, and then you move it to something else. Now, there's a fun trick here. Casting Hex is a bonus action, right? You can't cast another leveled spell on the same turn. You have to perform the verbal and somatic components, all that. It's a whole thing. But reapplying Hex doesn't require you to do those things. It's just bonus action. You think about it, it's done. So what you can do at the beginning of the day, instead of putting Hex on an enemy and then lasering them until they fall down, you can pull out your bag of rats again. You put Hex on a rat, you kill the rat, now you have a floating Hex for the duration of the spell. Next time you see an enemy, just that guy right there. And then you don't have to perform components. You can cast another leveled spell in the same turn. It's shenanigans. Also, thing that people frequently overlook with Hex, when you cast it, you pick an ability score. All creatures affected by that Hex have disadvantage on ability checks with that ability score. Now, this is really helpful for two things. So, one, you pick strength, and they're very, very susceptible to being grappled or shoved, which is great if you have somebody in the party who likes to do that. Or you pick wisdom, and all of a sudden their passive insight and perception drop by 5. So if you're planning to do a whole lot of lying or a whole lot of sneaking, all of a sudden that gets way easier because you've hexed something. So yeah, Hex is even useful in social situations.
Oh, wait, okay, no, my brain, now I'm wondering. So if I were to cast Hex, would a person be aware that I have hexed them?
That's my question too. Really?
Nope. There's no visible sign that the spell was cast. Like, there's no bolt of fire, there's no lightning bolts from the sky, none of that. Just things go poorly for them. That's it.
But I'm like the verbal somatic component. I would assume the same thing that you might do to understand what spell was cast for like a counterspell or something. I could maybe do in this case and be like, oh, I think that was Hex, and be like, oh, it was for my buddy Jim. Gonna lie to him. Like, I guess that makes sense. And then, all right, I feel like we could continue this conversation. I'm going to accept that you say no. I'm going to squint at it a little bit and imagine situationally this might be rougher. It's like, I know you're a warlock. Okay. The thing we probably all can agree with is that if I did my bag of rat trick or I did some murder earlier in the day, that I could easily transfer that to the shopkeeper that I'm about to. Okay.
Yep.
Cool. Yeah, that makes perfect sense. Now, but the negative is like, if I leave and I need to go do more murder, I can't transfer it again unless I kill the shopkeep on the way out. In which case, why did I try to like argue for a deal anyway?
Yeah.
But realistically,
more spell slots.
Realistically, out of combat is the only way that you're going to get the bonus of hex. That isn't just damage, because outside of in combat, the only ability score that's going to be used is strength, and that's it.
Yeah.
Realistically.
Carmack is pointing out correct. Yes, I could just cast it again, but we just talked about I don't have a lot of spell slots. I'm not just willy-nilly throwing around hexes here.
Yeah.
But I suppose after
Hex is better probably on like a sorcerer or a wizard to use in those situations.
Too bad they don't get it.
Is it just Warlock that gets Hex?
Yeah, I think it's on a couple of subclasses, but just as far as class spell lists, it is a Warlock exclusive.
Take an test again. Exactly. That's the Warlock plan.
It feels like Hex has a lot of unused potential. Like if you compare this Hex to witch hexes in Pathfinder 1 and in Pathfinder 2, like they're just on another level. Like you get all these different kinds of hexes and they all do cool, unique things. So feels kind of boring, not gonna lie.
Yeah, that's fair, honestly.
Yeah.
So we've talked about Eldritch Blast, we've talked about Hex. So the combination of those two things, Eldritch Blast, Hex, and Agonizing Blast, which we'll get to in a moment, those things are like the classic Warlock combo. Like if you want to play a Warlock in easy mode, you get Eldritch Blast, you take Agonizing Blast, and you cast Hex on things and you laser them until they fall down. And that combination of things provides a pretty standard baseline of damage that you can use to measure character optimization builds against. And that has been a fairly staple way that things are done on YouTube for a while. I believe that was popularized by Trent Monk, but I am unsatisfied to leave that as the answer. So sometime in the last year, I updated our fundamental math article to include a very detailed breakdown of damage progressions. If I remember right, the Warlock combo gets you just slightly into high DPR. So like, it's pretty good. It works okay. You can do better.
Ooh.
But if you want an easy character. Level 2, we get invocations. So invocations are really fun. This is one of the things that makes Warlocks arguably one of the most customizable classes in the game. It's like a miniature feat, essentially. No other class in 5e gets something like this. So players coming from PF2 to 5e are like, yes, finally, a decision point within my character.
Warlocks get the most customization out of any class, it feels like, because you get the most decision points. And they like to advertise like no two Warlocks will look the same. And it's like, you haven't played with many Warlocks, have you? Because even though there's a lot of invocations, there's some that are way more worth your time than others. So, yeah.
I feel like maybe the closest thing to it is like with the Artificer, right? Like the Artificer does have a list of choices that they can make tied to the items that they can create or the advantages that they get. But yeah, this is richer. There's so much more content here. And they're not all just like, look, I've got a different trinket that I can do a cool thing with. Granted, some of the Artificer armor is actually pretty awesome, but I digress.
So we get 2 invocations at second level. So which 2 are y'all going with? I know what I'm going with. I'm going to go with Agonizing Blast, and I think I'm going to go Repelling Blast. I could go Devil's Sight, just stay in the back and cast Darkness on myself and just pot shot people from there. But no, that's boring. I'm going to go with Repelling Blast just because it's funny. One of my players in a game I was running beat a difficult encounter by just cheesing it with Repelling Blast. It was like this frost giant skeleton. It was right on a ledge in a cave, and they kept Repelling Blasting it off the ledge, so it had to climb back up and use half its movement to get there. Repelling Blast again off the cliff. It was ridiculous. And the stupid thing about Repelling Blast is doesn't have a size limit, and they don't get a save or a chance to contest it. It just happens. It's so stupid. That colossal Warforge that's coming, that's the size of a city. Repelling Blast. That's so stupid.
I think I'm going to go for Agonizing Blast too. Gosh, it's really hard to choose the second one. Like, Devil's Sight is just so good, and it would make so much sense on a Fiend Lock. But I think I'm going to go for Misty Visions, because it lets you cast Silent Image at will without spending a spell slot. And if you can't break the game with free illusions, you aren't trying hard enough.
That's true. Or your DM is not willing to work with you.
That's true.
Probably the latter, honestly.
Yeah.
So, Randall, you're building a Hexblade. Are you building for melee or are you building for range?
I'm building for damage. No, that is a great question. Yeah, I got the proficiency with medium armor.
Mm-hmm. Shields.
Yeah, like I've got a lot of things that are going to make melee a lot of fun. I think I would like to build this character for melee.
Okay.
Devil's Sight.
In that case, Devil's Sight is a solid choice. Yeah, darkness on yourself, just walk it onto your enemy and stab things. Eldritch Mind is really good. It gives you advantage on concentration saves, which it is not a full replacement for Warcaster, but it's the important part. And if you're going to be in melee concentrating on spells, that feels like a good choice for you.
That does make a ton of sense. So what am I going to lose when I lose concentration? I'm going to lose Hex if I have it running, and that's going to make me sad. Okay, I think I'm going to go that path. I think let's actually take both of those. So I'm going to not take Agonizing Blast, and I am going to take Devil's Sight, and I am going to take Eldritch Mind.
Level 3?
Let's see. Yeah, let's see. So we will get more invocation options as we gain levels. It's like 5, 7, 9, 12, and 15, if I remember right. Look at me, I remembered right. So we'll get cool new invocations later.
And then we also have some that require pacts, which of course are not available to us yet, but we're going to get them in just a moment.
Hey, that moment is now.
Look at this.
All right, level 3, we get Pact Boon. So we get to choose from now 4 options. There is a new Pact Boon introduced in Tasha's that everyone immediately forgets, because I can't blame them.
It's fine. I think it can be cool flavor-wise, but in terms of power, it's not great. Pact of the Blade, Pact of the Chain, Pact of the Talisman, and Pact of the Tome, or the 4 ones.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So Pact of the Blade, you're playing a Hexblade. Pact of the Chain, you want a cool familiar. Pact of the Talisman, you didn't want the stress of having another class feature, so you decided to pass it off to a friend. And Pact of the Tome, rituals.
And more versatility.
That's true.
I'm going Pact of the Chain, because I want myself a dope familiar.
I get that. I think I'm going to go for Pact of the Tome. This is how you become the best ritual caster in the game, even exceeding the wizards slightly, because there are rituals outside of the wizard spell list, and this is the only way to get all of them.
Yep.
How about you, Randall?
Pact of the Blade?
Well, so I'm looking at the Pact of the Blade, and we're going to go that direction.
So here's a fun optimization trick that everyone will enjoy. So invocations, you can retrain one of your Warlock invocations every time you gain a Warlock level. We're now level 3, which means we can now take the invocations that require us to have a Pact Boon. This is a very good opportunity to retrain one of our previously chosen invocations and upgrade our Pact Boon. So like Randall, you could retrain into Improved Pact Weapon. Ash, you could retrain into Voice of the Chainmaster. I could retrain into, I don't remember what it's called, but I remember it being pretty dope, so I'm going to go look it up.
Yeah, and I am going to retrain Repelling Blast into Pact of the Chainmaster, just because it's very good. As for which familiar I'm going to pick, that's a tough one. I'm torn between Pseudo Dragon or Sprite, because both of those are good, especially because with Pact of the Chainmaster, their special ability uses my DC rather than their DC, so makes it not useless. And
I like Sprite.
Sprite is very good. I've seen it used to great effect, because for those who don't know, Sprite, when they hit someone with their short bow, they need to make a Constitution saving throw or become poisoned for 1 minute. If its saving throw result is 5 or lower, the poison target falls unconscious for the same duration. Pseudo Dragon also has something similar, which I would argue is better, because it stings. They become poisoned for an hour rather than a minute. If they fail the saving throw by 5 or more, they don't have to roll 5 or less. They just have to go 5 under the DC. It falls unconscious for the same duration. So I think I'm going to go with Pseudo Dragon.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah. Plus, the great thing about Pseudo Dragons is that one of the things that they can do as a familiar is they can pass on their magic resistance to their master, which is very good.
Yeah. I'm going to not retrain into Book of Ancient Secrets just yet. Like, I can wait one more level to have rituals. My pact does get me 3 cantrips from any spell list, like anywhere I want. So I could grab like Shillelagh if I'm worried about being in melee. I can grab Guidance, which is really good. I can grab, I don't know, something silly like Toll the Dead that I'm never going to use. But anyway, Pact Boon, it's cool.
I realized that we neglected to say what Investment of the Chainmaster does. So yeah, familiar gains a flying speed or swimming speed of up to 40 feet, which my pseudo dragon kind of already has that. But as a bonus action, I can command the familiar to take the attack action. It doesn't take one of my attacks anymore, which is great. The familiar's weapon attacks are also considered magical for the purposes of overcoming immunity and resistance. Pretty standard. If the familiar forces a creature to make a saving throw, it uses your spell save DC rather than its own DC. And if the familiar takes damage, you can use a reaction to grant it resistance against that damage. So all very good.
Yeah. Okay, so I want to talk a little bit about how familiars work, because people find this part to be a pain. Familiars are an independent creature. They take their own initiative and combat. Like, they don't act on your turn. As convenient as that would be, that's just not how it works. So your familiar acts on its turn, and if it's not in a position to make those attacks, when you spend your bonus action to make an attack, when you spend your action to attack and then give it one of your attacks, like, you can do both of those things on the same turn, but if your familiar isn't in position to attack anything, completely useless. So you may need to actually ready an action to tell your familiar to attack once it's in position, which is kind of a pain. That's why I personally prefer the sprite over the pseudo dragon, because it can attack at range, so positioning is much less important.
That's dumb way of looking at it, and I hate it. And I hate it because literally every other new minion that has come out with Tasha's allows you to move it as a bonus action as well. So if your GM is doing that, you're mean GM. Sorry, just let them move the thing. It's not that big a deal. Come on, don't be like that. Don't do that. Don't be that guy. Don't be the guy that nobody wants to play games with because you are a stickler for rules. Well, that makes me so mad. Honestly, that ruling really makes me mad. Please don't do that ever.
I mean, when the player's handbook came out, that's how every summoned creature worked.
Oh God, so bad.
The 2024 rules are updating it so familiars act immediately following your turn. So things will be it'll be much more convenient.
Can we just pretend that what I said is I'm ready? No.
It's so stupid. I hate it.
I know. Also at level 2, we get second level spells. Now there's various things in there. There are spells. Some of them are even second level. And here's second level.
We get second level spells.
Yeah. What's we're at level 3 right now.
We are.
Yes.
We just got Pact Boon. Yeah.
What's what's on everybody's expanded spell list?
Oh yeah, we need to look at that, don't we?
Mm-hmm. I have blindness and deafness, and phantasmal force, which again, depending on the DM, can be very, very good.
A lot of fun.
I've used phantasmal force to great effect. Those who want just a quick, easy way to use phantasmal force, box that's on fire.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yep. I also get blindness, deafness, and I get scorching ray, which is like all of the things you love about Eldritch Blast, but more rays sooner, and it's fire damage. So like if you can get hex on something without casting a spell that turn, so again, stab a rat, hex your target, scorching ray them, tons and tons of damage very, very quickly. It's great.
I feel like PETA's going to call on us for all this raticide that we're doing.
That's fair. It's fair.
Yeah.
You're a monster. You know that? You're part of the problem.
It's the Pied Piper over here. I get Blur and Branding Smite.
Makes sense.
More smites and Blur. Yeah.
It's fine.
It's all right.
It's a fine defense. Like, yeah.
I don't know if I'm going to take it, but it's fine.
I feel Branding Smite you'll use more. I would recommend once you're able to get Eldritch Smite as a Hexblade, because it's just good for you to do that.
Eldritch Smite is fun. It knocks your target prone without a save or anything, so you can just like snipe things out of the sky and make them fall.
Yeah, that is true.
Nice.
Level 4.
All right. Level 4. Oh, well, we didn't talk about second level spells other than what's on our spell list. Yeah.
My bad.
Okay, so there's some cool stuff at second level. Darkness is a classic. If you take Devil's Sight, you can see through the darkness, but basically nothing else can except devils. So you can stand in your bubble of darkness and just fire Eldritch Blast at advantage on all things. And that is actually a bigger boost to your damage output than casting Hex. Also, you can cast darkness on an object like a small rock, carry it around with you, and you're like, I no longer need it to be dark. In my pocket it goes. Darkness is temporarily gone. Very convenient.
Yeah. There's a reason why Devil's Sight is kind of a necessity for most Hexadens.
Oh gosh, Shadow Blade is on here, but it's basically useless for Warlocks. And it's mostly wizard spells. Spider Climb, Suggestion, Spray of Cards if you're feeling fancy and felt like Burning Hands didn't disappoint you enough.
Yeah, the card stuff that they added is so disappointing. It makes me sad, especially having played Harrower in Pathfinder 1, which does the card thing so much better. It's just, why did you try? Why did you try 5th edition?
All right, so level 4, we get an ability score increase. So this is a great time to take a half feat like Telekinetic or Fey Touched or Shadow Touched or the Gift of the Something Dragon that gives you a +1. I always forget which. Is it Gem Dragon? Ash,
Gem Dragon. Yeah. Okay. Or which one are you talking about?
The one that gives you a +1 ability score increase.
I believe it's the Gem Dragon, yeah. Gift of the Gem Dragon.
If you're an elf, Elven Accuracy is great here. You can use the Darkness Devil's Sight combination to make Elven Accuracy super easy, and then you've got Elven Accuracy, Eldritch Blast, Agonizing Blast, Perpetual Super Advantage. It's like, yeah, you never miss, you deal damage all the time. Feels good. All right, what's everybody taking?
I think I'm just going to bump my Charisma this level.
Yeah, if taking 2 in Charisma gets me the +1, I'm definitely just doing that. Otherwise, yeah, I'm trying to figure out what the right half feat to take. Let's assume I'm taking 2 Charisma, and I'll figure the rest out later.
I think I'm going to go for Fey Touched just to get the extra spell casting per day. Also, you can recast the spells using spell slots, so it's effectively expanding both the amount of spells I can cast per day and the number of spells I know. So I would probably, first level spell doesn't really matter what I go for. I typically go for Bless as kind of a default because it's a good staple buff in almost any situation. If we assume I started with 17 Charisma at level 1, this gets me to 18. Things are good for me. All right, so that brings us to the end of Tier 1. We're getting out of basically the tutorial of the game. How's everybody feeling about their Warlocks?
I'm excited to
so many things.
I'm excited to really beef up my familiar to absurd degrees. So it's gonna be great.
I'm telling myself, I could have gone for Pact of the Talisman and repeated my D4 abuse build, which was something absolutely truly insane that I love. But it's too complicated for me to remember live on the podcast, and I'm pretty sure it involved multi-classics. We're just not going to go there, and I'll just link it in the show notes. What if you could add 6 D4 to every D20 roll all the time?
It sounds like a good time.
It is.
All right, folks. So we have gone through Tier 1. This is where we're going to cut it. We're going to pick up in the next episode where we'll go Tier 2 to Tier 4, and we'll finish off these Warlock builds. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time.